A long time ago, around 300 AD, in the western part of Africa, a small kingdom began to grow. Its people were called the Soninke, and they lived in an area between the Sahara Desert and the forests of the south. At first, they were just farmers, hunters, and herders of cattle, sheep, and goats. They called their land Ouagadougou. But over time, outsiders began calling it the Ghana Empire, because Ghana was the title given to their king, meaning warrior king. It is important to know that this empire was not in the same place as today's country of Ghana. It was located in what is now Mali, Mauritania, and Senegal. The early kings of Ghana began to unite small villages and clans under their rule. They created a system where the king was both a political leader and a spiritual figure, believed to have powers to protect the land and people. The Ghana Empire was in a perfect location for trade. To the north was the vast Sahara Desert, where salt, copper, and cloth came from. To the south were thick forests rich with gold, ivory, and kola nuts. In between these two worlds stood Ghana, like a golden gate between the desert and the forest. Traders from the north and south had to pass through Ghana's territory. The kings took advantage of this by taxing traders twice, once when they entered and once when they left. These taxes were paid in goods like gold dust, salt, and other valuable items. Camels, which could travel long distances without water, were introduced from North Africa around the 4th century. These camels made trans-Saharan trade faster and safer. Soon, long lines of camel caravans carried goods across the desert to Ghana's markets. By 800 AD, Ghana had grown into a strong kingdom. The king, known as the Ghana, controlled not just the capital, but also the surrounding towns and villages. The empire had a powerful army to protect trade routes and defend against enemies, skilled metal workers who made tools, weapons, and jewelry from iron and gold, a system of governors who helped the king rule distant parts of the empire. The Ghana kings became very rich from taxes. They used this wealth to build palaces decorated with gold and to maintain large armies with thousands of soldiers. Between the 9th and 11th centuries, Ghana reached its peak. The capital city, Koumbi Saleh, became one of the largest and richest cities in the region. It was actually made up of two towns: the King's Town, where the royal palace, court, and soldiers were based; the Traders' Town, filled with merchants, markets, and mosques. Caravans brought salt from places like Tagaza in the north and gold from the forests in the south. Arab and Berber traders from North Africa came with luxury goods: fine clothes, copper, horses, and books. Gold from Ghana became so famous that Arab geographers and historians called the region the Land of Gold. Salt, though less glamorous, was just as valuable because it was used to preserve meat and fish in the hot climate. The Ghana kings controlled the gold mines. In fact, only the king was allowed to own large gold nuggets. Ordinary people could only have gold dust. This rule helped keep gold valuable and increased the king's power. The people of Ghana had a rich culture. They spoke the Soninka language and followed traditional African religions. They believed in many gods and spirits and honored their ancestors. When traders from the north arrived, they brought Islam. Many Muslim traders settled in Ghana and built mosques in the traders' town of Koumbi Saleh. Over time, some of the king's officials and merchants converted to Islam. However, the Ghana kings themselves continued to follow traditional beliefs, and they allowed religious freedom. The Muslims brought with them not just their religion, but also Arabic writing, new ideas about law and government, and connections to the wider Islamic world. From the late 11th century, Ghana began to face serious problems. Attacks from the Almoravids. The Almoravids were a group of Muslim warriors from North Africa. Around 1076, they invaded Ghana, capturing Koumbi Saleh and disrupting trade. Although Ghana eventually regained independence, the damage was done. Trade slowed, and the empire weakened. Drought and environmental problems. There were long periods without enough rain. The land became dry, making farming and raising animals harder. This caused food shortages and forced some people to leave the area. New trade routes. Traders began to use routes that avoided Ghana's territory. This meant fewer taxes and less wealth for the king. By the early 13th century, Ghana had lost much of its power. Finally, in 1240, the rising Mali Empire, led by Sundiata Keita, took control of Koumbi Saleh and the Ghana Empire disappeared. Even though the Ghana Empire fell, it left behind a powerful legacy. It was the first great empire of West Africa, showing that African kingdoms could be rich, organized, and powerful. It proved the importance of trade in building strong states. Its success inspired later empires like Mali and Songhai, which would become even greater. The story of Ghana is still remembered as a time when gold and salt shaped history, and a king called Ghana ruled a land that shone brightly in the heart of West Africa.